I think gardening and life is, I think gardening is the same as investing. I think just like just like in the stock market, you have these crazy highs, and then you walk outside, and the whole stock market then crashed. I think that's how gardening is sometimes. Some people. I remember my first year, I put so much of my money into citrus, and that's how a lot of people do in the stock market and in investing in general. They put so much of their money into whatever new, whatever the newest fad, and they don't kind of diversify. And when the stock market crashes, or when that particular stock, as in my case, when the snow came and the citrus market dwindled, just disappeared, crashed, I was sad. I was sad. If that was my money in the stock market, I probably would have been crying my eyes out. But after that, I learned something: is not to put all of my money in citrus. I started actually diversifying, where now I have pomegranate trees, loquat trees, pear trees, apple trees, fig trees, persimmon trees, mulberry trees, the kind of trees that the winter doesn't kill. So I learned a lot about life through gardening. So I've learned how to invest, how to diversify. Some people, if you buy just an apartment complex, then what happens if there's a fire at that complex that takes out half of what you have? Well, all of your property was in one location. But if you have properties at different locations and one house burned down, well, you still got 75%. If you had four and one burn, you still got 75% of your residual passive income steady coming in. And so I just look at the garden, and every time I lose, I try to think of, how can I spread the loss? How do you spread the loss in gardening? Dealing with Louisiana, one way to spread your loss is not to plant all citrus trees. I found that out real quick. So no matter how cold it gets, I have deciduous trees that can take that kind of cold because they've defoliated already. The high tunnel was another reason why, or another way for me to spread my cost around. Instead of just make a huge garden area, I decided to try to put it in some kind of way where I could cover that area. And then all of my stuff isn't just in the garden. I got a couple of chickens, right? So even if I'm not gonna just be a chicken farmer and have 1,000 chickens, and then some crazy disease comes along and wipes out all of my chickens, then I'll have the garden. The same thing. If my garden isn't producing, well, I got my citrus trees and my fruit trees to kind of back that up. If my citrus and fruit trees are not producing that year as well, then I got my garden to back that up. So that's kind of how investing goes in the garden and in life. And then the thing about that is, no matter how many crashes that happen, no matter how many times you walk out and your garden has been obliterated by some pest, by some deer, by some kind of pigs or rabbits, what I want to say is, you have highs and you have lows. In gardening, you riding high when your food is producing. You're killing it on the production side. And then sometimes you have those lows where your stuff just doesn't produce, no matter what you do, or the pests tear you up. And just like in the stock market, right? You've had your crashes, your 1929s and your 30s and your 40s, and 2008s and 93s and all that. You've had your ups and your downs, but just like in life, they always say that your good days outweigh your bad days. And that's like one of the most important things to understand, that no matter how many lows you get, no matter how many times your life crashes, just like in life, you have these highs, and by God, you have these crazy lows that just, as a person, brings you so down. But when you look back over, like the song says, when you look back over your life and you think about it, all of your good days outweigh your bad days. So would you not invest in your garden because of days like this? Would you not invest in the stock market because it crashed in whatever year it crashed in? Would you not invest in fruit trees in California because of the citrus disease, or Florida because of a citrus disease that's going to plague you for a period of time? No. Would you not live life because something traumatic happened in your life that brought you down super low? The answer is no. You go out and you get back up, you get whatever resources you have, and you put it back into the garden, you put it back into your life, you pick up the pieces, whatever you have left, you start over with that. And that's how gardening is. No matter how bad a year can be, you look forward to those good years. You look forward to the years where you're like, man, I can't believe I've come this far. I can't believe I'm doing what I'm doing. And that's how I equate gardening. I say gardening is just like, I was talking to Guillory, and we was talking about, gardening is just like the stock market. You have the highest of highs, and then some days you can have the lowest of lows. But looking at your highs and your lows, they all kind of balance out, It all kind of goes back down to this, what we call this average, this just life, But more so the good times are always outweigh the bad times. This is how much it's grown since. I love how you can tell where that greenery is coming out. That's real reassuring. That probably get me some bananas this year.